The roar of flames and my paralyzed son's frantic screams still haunt my nightmares, a vivid echo of that horrific Wednesday evening in August 2024. My 10-year-old son, Ethan, was trapped inside our neighborhood workshop, a gasoline-fueled inferno devouring everything around his wheelchair. Vanessa Thornton, the HOA president, had bolted the door shut from the outside, condemning my boy to burn alive, all because she despised military families. What she didn't know was that in just 4 minutes, Navy SEAL helicopters would tear through the twilight sky above her manicured suburban empire. She was about to learn that the unassuming consultant she'd been harassing was a high-ranking Pentagon official with the power to unravel her life completely. My name is Colonel David Reynolds. For the past year, the folks in Willow Creek Estates knew me only as a grieving widower, a defense consultant piecing together a quiet life with my disabled son. But my real office was buried deep in the Pentagon, where I served as a strategic operations director with top-level security clearance and command over America's elite special forces. This is the story of how one woman's twisted hatred nearly killed my son and how her perfect crime became her worst nightmare. Willow Creek Estates, nestled near Naval Air Station Pensacola, was a haven for military families, veterans, and civilians living in harmony. Our modest split-level home blended into a neighborhood of tidy lawns and shared amenities, including a community workshop where residents tinkered on projects. Ethan, my brilliant boy, was the heart of my world. A car accident 3 years ago, caused by a reckless driver, stole his ability to walk, but it never dimmed his spirit or his dream of designing aircraft. At 10, he was obsessed with planes, spending hours crafting detailed models while memorizing specs for jets, drones, and helicopters with the focus of a future engineer. Every evening at 5 p.m., Ethan wheeled himself to the workshop, his toolkit strapped to his chair and his stuffed F-22 Raptor, nicknamed Blaze, tucked under his arm. He spoke in pilot lingo, calling me base and framing challenges as mission objectives, his resilience a testament to his unyielding spirit. "Disability doesn't clip your wings, Dad," he'd say, tweaking a model's landing gear. "It just means you adjust the runway." The workshop was Ethan's sanctuary, a place where his wheelchair danced between tables littered with balsa wood and blueprints. He turned it into a mini engineering lab, complete with charts mapping thrust ratios and wingspans details most adults couldn't grasp. Watching him solve complex design problems while other kids scrolled on phones filled me with awe. But that peace shattered when Vanessa Thornton moved into the neighborhood's priciest estate and seized control of the HOA. At 45, she was polished to perfection, her sleek black Audi Q8 a symbol of her dominance. Beneath her flawless exterior lurked a deep-seated resentment. Her father, discharged from the Navy for desertion, had left her family humiliated, fueling her belief that military families were freeloaders leeching off society. She saw us as living proof of her father's shame, and her $900,000 HOA budget became a weapon to punish anyone who crossed her. Her campaign against us began the day she learned I was a defense consultant. She showed up at our door, clipboard in hand, her smile as sharp as a blade. "Mr. Reynolds," she purred, eyeing Ethan as he maneuvered onto our porch. "I'm here to discuss your family's impact on our community's image." Her gaze lingered on the ramp I'd built for Ethan, her disdain barely masked. I played my part, presenting myself as a struggling widower, but her words cut deep. "Military families often bring chaos," she said, her voice laced with venom. "Disabled children, especially, strain our resources with their special needs." Ethan, arranging his models nearby, froze, confusion clouding his face. My training kept me calm, but inside, I was profiling a predator. Vanessa wasn't just petty, she was dangerous. Within days, she targeted the workshop, posting notices banning unattended minors due to liability risks. It was a thinly veiled attack on Ethan's sanctuary, designed to crush his spirit without naming his disability. "Insurance concerns," she told neighbors, her tone dripping with fake sympathy. Ethan's heartbreak was unbearable. The workshop was his lifeline, a place where he'd rebuilt his confidence after the accident. Losing it sent him spiraling, his voice small as he clutched Blaze and asked, "Why does she hate planes, Dad?" "I'm not hurting anyone." Explaining her cruelty to a child who saw the world through honor and courage nearly broke me. Vanessa's attacks grew bolder. She confiscated Ethan's models, claiming military toys promoted violence. I found him sobbing over his shattered F-22, months of work smashed by Vanessa's hammer as she lectured neighbors about war imagery. Her smug satisfaction as Ethan gathered the pieces pushed me to the edge, but my cover demanded restraint. I filed complaints with the HOA, only to face her retaliation lawsuit threats and accusations that I was destabilizing the community. The board, cowed by her influence, did nothing. Ethan's spirit waned, but he refused to surrender, rigging a mobile workbench to keep building despite her bans. "Mission still green, base," he'd whisper, his courage humbling me. By the fourth week, Vanessa's behavior turned sinister. She stalked our routines, timing Ethan's workshop visits and noting when my Pentagon calls kept me occupied. Her surveillance photos of our house, notes on Ethan's movements screamed escalation. I knew she was planning something, but my cover tied my hands. That fateful Wednesday, Ethan wheeled to the workshop at 5 p.m., buzzing about his latest drone model. I was locked in a classified briefing, coordinating counterterrorism ops, unaware that Vanessa had been waiting for this moment. Carrying 2 gasoline cans, she approached Ethan with a fake emergency. "Chemical spill," she lied, urging him to evacuate. Trusting her authority, Ethan began packing, his voice steady as he asked, "Should I radio base?" Vanessa's mask slipped, her eyes gleaming as she blocked the door and poured gasoline in deliberate arcs. "No need," she said, her tone chilling. "I'm handling this." Ethan's instincts kicked in as the fumes grew thick. "Ma'am, we need to evac now," he urged, but Vanessa slammed the door, barricading it with beams she'd stashed nearby. "Military families always burn out," she taunted through the wood. "This just speeds it up." As she flicked her lighter, flames erupted, trapping Ethan in a blazing cage. "Mayday! Mayday!" he screamed, clutching Blaze, his voice a desperate beacon in the smoke. Vanessa stood outside, gas can in hand, watching her plan unfold. She thought she'd won. She was wrong. Neighbors spotted the smoke, calling 911 and rushing to help. Mrs. Carter, our next-door neighbor, tried to break the door down, but the barricade held. Others filmed Vanessa's eerie calm, her Audi parked nearby. Someone recognized Ethan's cries and called me, their voice piercing my briefing like a missile. "Colonel Reynolds, Ethan's trapped in a burning workshop." My world stopped. Years of discipline shattered as I barked. "My son's under attack by a domestic threat. I need SEAL teams now." The defense secretary didn't hesitate. "All units, we have an active assault on a military dependent. Deploy immediately." Within minutes, SEAL helicopters roared toward Willow Creek, a federal response Vanessa couldn't fathom. Inside the workshop, Ethan fought for his life, reciting drone specs to stay calm as flames closed in. His wheelchair pinned him, but his spirit soared. The chopper's thunder shook the neighborhood as SEALs fast roped down, breaching the workshop with surgical precision. They pulled Ethan from the inferno, his chair scorched, but his grip on Blaze unbroken. Vanessa, still clutching her gas can, froze as operators swarmed her mansion, her empire crumbling under the weight of military justice. She'd targeted the wrong family, and now she faced consequences no HOA budget could shield. Ethan survived, his dreams intact, but the scars physical and emotional in her. Vanessa's arrest made headlines, her hatred exposed for the world to see. But her kind isn't rare, lurking behind smiles and authority, preying on those they deem weak. What do you think should people like Vanessa face harsher penalties for targeting vulnerable kids? Could your neighborhood hide a predator like her? How far would you go to protect your family from someone with power and no conscience? Share your thoughts below, and if stories like this hit you hard, hit that subscribe button. Evil thrives and silence lets expose it together. Word count for 1,000 characters. Note, the story maintains the original plot, context, and intensity while changing names, Lucas to Ethan, Karen to Vanessa, etc. Location, Silverbrook Heights to Willow Creek Estates. And time, Tuesday to Wednesday, August 2024. The tone is deepened with vivid imagery and emotional weight, crafted to be gripping and conversational in standard American English. Controversial questions at the end aim to spark debate and engagement.